Hey guys, today we're going in search of a very mysterious cave in a hill called Aalurutti Malai. You can see the arrow mark that tells us to go through the gate. This place gets less than 5 visitors a year, but some people claim this cave has 5,000-year-old carvings. The area, even though protected by the Archaeological Department of India, has thick, overgrown bushes, making it nearly impossible to go through. And suddenly, you can see some carvings at a distance. We can see 2 carvings on the rock face and a huge cave underneath. Who are these 2 figures? Lord Buddha? It is very hard to identify them when you look at them from the ground level. They're carved at a height of about 20 feet. First, I'm going to remove my shoes, and then we're going to use a drone to observe the details. These are not Buddhist carvings. These belong to an ancient religion called Jainism. The central figure in this rectangle could be Lord Mahavira in deep meditative state. On the sides, you can see 2 attendants holding something weird. What are they? Archaeologists say this is a fly whisk called chamara in India, very similar to a handmade fan. Perhaps this is a convincing theory because today, some people use fly whisks in religious sites. But your eyes may be naturally attracted to these animals. They look like Chinese dragons, right? On the left, there is a smiling dragon, and on the right, this one has an angry face. They're definitely not lions because they have horns. But there are 2 more animals hiding in this carving. Can you tell me what they are? Yes, there are 2 snakes carved on either side of the chair. You can also say it is a 2-headed snake sharing one body. But you can see feathers on the head here. On the other side, you can see the same detail, a feathered snake's head. The feathered serpent is not only worshipped in India, but also worshipped by Mayans of Mexico. This Mayan god is called Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl. And in many Mayan sites, you can see the exact same iconography where a feathered snake's head alone is carved with an open mouth. On the other side, you can see a smaller figure. This is another Jain prophet, an enlightened being in deep meditation. But the attendants are on a lunch break and have left the fly whisks here. But I'm very, very confused by these carvings, and you should be too. Why? Imagine you are the ancient sculptor. How would you start the carving process? Let's say I ask you to carve something on granite, which is one of the hardest rocks in the world, and you cannot use modern tools because according to mainstream archaeologists, everything was done with primitive chisels and hammers. On top of this, you have to carve them at a height of 20 feet on a hill that has such a rough, uneven surface. On the bottom, look, do you see an even flat surface to at least set the ladder properly? Now, let's say you place a wooden ladder somehow, but to carve these figures accurately, you have to hit them hard with chisel and hammer. Will the ladder still be standing erect, or will it fall? What you're seeing here is nothing short of a miracle, in my opinion. But there is another fascinating detail we missed. First, they cut out the top layers of the rock face. They peeled off the rough skin of the rock. Actually, they shaved the top layer to a depth of 3 inches. Why? Because on the inside, the rock is usually much smoother. You can see this by observing the sides. Then they have made 2 more rectangular depressions and then started sculpting these figures. Are there more carvings inside the cave? This is a large cave stretching for more than 60 feet long, and at the entrance, it is about 8 feet tall, and it narrows down as you go deep inside. Is it a natural cave, or was it made artificially? At about 10 feet height, you can see this mysterious line. This is where you realize that most of the natural rock has been carefully worked on. It's not just about carving a line on the rock. Above this line, the rock is thicker. It is at least 1 inch thicker, and everything looks rough. Below the line, they've shaved or peeled off some of the rock skin to make it into a depression. See how smooth the cave looks after this line. Why did they do this? Archaeologists call this a drip ledge. They say ancient builders made this to prevent rainwater from going inside the cave. If it rains, water will drip to the ground in this line. It will not go inside because water cannot move past this elevation. This is exactly why we put a canopy over the door. Otherwise, rainwater would come into the house. You can see the tool marks clearly here. What you're looking at is an ancient canopy. But is it really for water dripping alone? Or were ancient people doing something else with it? Why does this canopy stretch throughout the entire cave, not just through the length, but also through the entire depth of the cave? Why does the color look reddish on the ceiling? Who are these ancient builders? As we search this area, we can see something very interesting. So here you can see some ancient inscriptions. They must be at least 1,000 years old. This is written in ancient Tamil language. Surprisingly, even though there is a lot of deterioration, right? You can see a lot of damage. Mostly I think it's natural damage, but we can still read this. Let's see what we can gather from these inscriptions. Let's see if I can still read this 1,000-year-old letters. So one thing that we can do is read this one. It says, Thiruman Malai. I think this is the name of this place. Malai means a hill or a kind of a mountain. And I think the name of this place should be Thiruman Malai. I can't read the rest of that. You can see that's gone. Let's see what else we can read here. Here you can see something. It says, not sure if this I think. Kala Puramana Kulotunga. I think that's what it is. Kulotunga Soran or Sora, probably Sora Patana. So something like this. It's either Salapuram or Kalapuramana, and it says Kalapuramana Kulotunga Soran or Sorapatanam. I can read the first word here. It says Sundarapandian, the name of a king who ruled around 1250 AD. In these types of inscriptions, the first word usually denotes a king who ruled at the time of inscription. This means the inscription and the Jain carvings were made around 1250 AD, approximately 750 years ago. There is a strange optical illusion in these writings. See how these letters appear raised above the rock surface? Look carefully. Are these letters raised above the rock surface, or Are they like normal inscriptions that are etched, causing a depression? They look like pop-up letters from some angles and normal etchings when viewed from other angles. Okay, we haven't even stepped into the cave yet, so let's go in. What were the Jains doing in this cave during ancient times? Are there more carvings of Jain gods inside too? It's really weird because they carved the Jain gods at a difficult place outside, but inside, where it would have been easy to carve, there's nothing. It's empty, but we can see something strange on the floor. You can see a rectangle carved here. This is clearly man-made work. Again, at a distance, another rectangle. You can see one more here. Inside these rectangles, the rock surface has been polished, making it smooth. Because they look like beds, experts call them Jain beds. They think that Jain monks slept here in these stone beds. However, this theory raises several questions. If they had such skill to carve on granite, why did they live in caves? Why did they not build houses and sleep there? Let's say they're monks and did not care about comfort. But then, why did they carve these beds? Why couldn't they sleep on the natural floor? But let's say these are beds, right? What about this one? How can you possibly use it as a bed? I mean, the bed, it has a bump right in the middle, and these two depressions are too small. You cannot lie down in either one of them. Here too, you can see this rectangle, but there's a bump right in the center. Will you fix a huge iron rod in the middle of your bed permanently? That would defeat the purpose of any bed. They have definitely done something here, but we don't fully understand what is going on. Let's explore the cave and see what else we can find. This is a very strange cave with an unsettling vibe. Your stomach may start to churn as you explore deeper. The cave looks natural, but the way it slowly narrows down as we go deeper and deeper makes us think if it was created deliberately this way. And then you can see something else. A lot of tiny little stones. They look smooth like pebbles. They have been put here. Immediately we can see that they don't belong here. They must have been put here in recent times. Why? Are there some secret tunnels here that lead underground? All around the world, ancient underground chambers are being discovered. Is it possible that there are entrances to such underground chambers from here? Who covered this up and why? But wait, what is this? This changes everything we learned so far about this cave. You see a series of concentric rings here, right? Do you know what they are? Here you can see another one. Wow, this is just fantastic, isn't it? Believe it or not, archaeologists and historians are still arguing about these things. They're called cup and ring marks. And these marks were done in prehistoric times. This means it goes way back beyond the ancient times. The oldest cup and ring marks in the world is 8,300 years old in Israel. In case you don't know, these cup and ring marks were made by prehistoric people. That means it was done by people who did not know how to read or write and did not have an organized religion like Jainism or Hinduism. That means the cave was not only used by ancient builders, but prehistoric cavemen were also using this cave. Prehistoric time is any time that's older than 3,200 years or 1,200 BC. The cup and ring marks could be 5,000 or even 10,000 years old, but we can confidently say it is at least 3,200 years old. This is a big change because initially, by looking at the inscription, we thought it was inhabited only 750 years ago. But an important question would have popped into your mind. What is the purpose behind these things? Is there a specific reason behind these carvings? And it's not found only in a specific country or a continent. These marks are seen scattered all around the world in different places. These so-called cup and ring marks, nobody knows why prehistoric people carved them. Archaeologists actually agree that they do not know how prehistoric people used these things or what they were doing with it. This is a classic example of the unsolved mysteries in archaeology. Today, we think we are so advanced, and many people think they have figured out everything. But we don't even understand why cavemen around the world were carving the same concentric circles. To escape this question, of course, experts can blame it on superstition or art or some primitive religion or something. Or they can say prehistoric men were like monkeys and they were just doing mindless circles. When I walk around the cave, I can understand why ancient builders carved these two Jain figures at a 20 feet height. If they had carved them on the floor, they too would be covered in goat poop. Around the world, these carvings would have been considered national treasures. But in India, there is very little regard for ancient and prehistoric structures, and that includes the general public too. India is so rich in culture that no humans come here, but this place is open for herding goats and cows. But if cavemen made these cup and ring marks here, they would have left behind another important evidence. If we see cup and ring, we should also see cave paintings. This would be the perfect place for cave paintings with overhanging rock like a flat roof. Let's go take a look and see if we can find any cave paintings. It's very hard to look because the entire ceiling is covered with graffiti. So you can see these are all new English writings. But there, you can see something very strange. So, see this kind of a animal man, I think. The face looks like a triangle, almost looks like a horse. And you can see the body. It's very unclear because this has been destroyed. But we can clearly see these two legs and the head here. A large triangular head. Does it mean anything? Does that mean it's an extraterrestrial or an alien? We don't know. But we can clearly see the triangular head, the body. The hand is almost like this, putting it on his hip maybe. I don't know what happened to his other hand. And we can see the two legs. That's very strange. Now, you can see that this is deteriorated quite a bit. You can see this new graffiti. This is M-A. These are all new letters. But cave paintings are usually not done like completely alone. You'll never see just one painting. So there should be more. So let's see if we can find some more. So here, actually, there are more cave paintings on this side. And these look very interesting. I don't think I can make out what these are. I will have to see what these are. These look quite complex. And you can see some very strange humanoid type of figure. Very odd. It looks like a winged alien, doesn't it? You can see the outstretched wings and a large head. This definitely does not look human. He looks like a birdman. Why did prehistoric men, who lived more than 3,200 years ago, make such paintings? Around the world, cave paintings are recognized as the earliest art forms, usually showing various animals and men getting involved in simple activities like hunting. Archaeologists and historians agree that these are the most realistic depictions of prehistoric life. When they see these paintings, experts claim prehistoric people saw these animals, they saw these people, and they lacked imagination, so they just painted what they saw. But does the same logic also apply here? Did they see a flying humanoid? Did they see a large figure that had a huge triangular head? When you show them these paintings, experts will make a U-turn and say, no, these must have come from their imagination. Or even worse, they have another perfect scapegoat: religion. Mainstream experts will say it must be a headdress worn by a priest, or this must be some type of a primitive religious ritual, etc. Strangely enough, the Birdman paintings are found around the world, and we just don't know what they actually depict. But I want to tell you something very important if you ever decide on visiting this cave. There is an easier way to reach this cave. You don't have to go through the bushes like I did. I did not know that there was another gate right in front of the cave, and I could have just walked through this gate. I hope you guys like this video. I am PraveenMohan. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.